Hello, ladies, and welcome to another edition of Menopause Made Easy with Tanya, your space for straight talk, real situations, and a whole lot of heart when it comes to thriving through midlife, menopause, and beyond. And yes, I still have ladies in their 60s and 70s that say, Tanya, I don't listen to your podcast because I'm not in menopause. Well, you are. So in our 30s, late 30s, early 40s, we are transitioning into perimenopause. That is when our hormones are chaotic and all over the place. Then we transition to menopause. So we go from perimenopause to menopause. And some people say postmenopause. Most people just say menopause. But menopause is where you're going to spend a third to a half of your life if you are lucky and you are thriving and energetic and, oh my gosh, embracing this beautiful stage of life. Today, we're going to talk about something that just might change how you approach your goals. So, this month, we are doing some reflection on some mindset. So we've talked about biology of beliefs with about Bruce Lipton. We did that episode. Then we talked about, oh goodness, I'm just looking it up here. Why self-compassion is the key to long-term change, which is what we're doing today. And last week we talked about I'm not that anymore, identity shifts. So really getting into mindset this month. So whether it's eating better, moving more, improving your mindset, quieting the negative noise in your head, which I had a lot of negative noise for a lot of years, this episode is about self-compassion and why it's not the same thing as self-esteem or giving yourself a pep talk, because I gave myself a lot of pep talks. If you have ever said to yourself, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, or I blew my diet, what's the point now? I'll start on Monday again. I just needed to get together. All of these little, sayings that we say to ourselves to sabotage. This episode is for you. Listen up. Let's get going. All right, so we're going to understand the difference between self-compassion, self-esteem, and pep talks, just so you know the difference, why this matters for women in midlife. And I'm going to give you some real life women who are using self-compassion to get through some changes during this stage and why this works, the brain body connection. And then we're going to do a self-compassion practice that you can do today. And then we will wrap it up. All right. So, what's the difference between self-compassion, self-esteem, and pep talks? Self-compassion is treating yourself with kindness, even when you're struggling. Okay, instead of criticism, shame, or guilt, which I spent decades in. Decades in shame. I did a great episode number 56. I did spent many years in criticism. Oh my gosh, beating myself up, feeling guilty. It's not a good place to be. It's very defeating. And that's not good. Self-compassion is like being your own best friend on a hard day. And according to Dr. Diana Hill, she's a clinical psychologist and the author of I Know I Should Exercise, but self-compassion is a scientifically backed skill that helps you stay emotionally regulated, motivated, and aligned with your values, even when life gets hard. And values, knowing your values is really important because what you value is where you're going to spend your time and your money. And it's that simple. So if you haven't done an evaluation of your values lately, it's a really good exercise to do. Self-compassion is not letting yourself off the hook. It's staying in the game with gentleness and honesty. Self-esteem, on the other hand, is feeling good about yourself when you succeed. It often relies on how you compare yourself to others or how well you perform. So, what happens when you don't hit the mark? Well, your self esteem can crash. And I have definitely been there as well. I have rode and still continue to ride at times that roller coaster of, how letting other things influence how I feel about myself. And it's really not a good place to be. It's a good place to be when you're feeling good, but it's amazing how one bad thing can just plummet you. That's where self-compassion comes in. Okay, and then there's the pep talk. We've all done this, right? And you've got this, you're in it, you're gonna do it. And they're great, right? And they give you a quick jolt of motivation, but they usually don't help when you're deep in shame of fear, of failure, that sort of thing. So we want something that's going to be more consistent. And why does this matter for women in midlife? When you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, especially at the beginning of this journey, you're dealing with hormonal shifts, fatigue, weight changes, brain fog. And if you haven't mastered those in your 40s and 50s, a lot of women are still struggling in their 60s and 70s with fatigue. And then, they haven't dealt with little small problems, so they become big problems, right? And this is when you need a relationship with yourself that is steady and kind. And self-compassion helps you regulate your nervous system. I did a great episode on nervous system. I think it's 67, 76. I don't know, just put it in the search bar, nervous system. Really great episode to listen to. So self-compassion helps you regulate your nervous system, avoid the all or nothing trap, which so many of us get into, and stay committed to long-term change without the burnout. And I'm going to give you some examples of women and how they are doing this, because I have definitely been in the all or nothing game. I have definitely had a dysregulated nervous system and had no idea about my nervous system or it being dysregulated. Remember, nobody was talking about this stuff. And I would, you know, fall out of long-term goals because I just lost faith in myself, and burn out because I was trying to do too much, too soon, too quickly, too fast, all the rest of it. Okay, so let's meet Laura. She is 53 and she wants to stop nighttime overeating. And if you go listen to episode, I believe it is, I did a great episode on nighttime eating. I think it's 196A, nighttime eating and what's happening after dark. Really great episode. Okay, so Laura's old voice would say, as mine did, as many of yours do, I blew it again. I have no willpower. Okay, and then just dive right in because she has no willpower. But her new self-compassionate voice says, it was a hard day. No wonder I wanted comfort. What do I need right now? Maybe it's a hot cup of tea, a warm bath, or maybe I just need to rest. So Laura is giving herself some time, a pause, a breath, a pause. Ask yourself questions, curiosity. I've talked a lot about my PBA technique to come up with just some different examples of what she could do instead of that quick habit, that really strong habit of grabbing something to eat and then negatively self-talking to herself. So she's not shaming herself with, it was a hard day. She's being honest. No wonder I want comfort, being honest and vulnerable. She's pausing, listening, and redirecting with kindness to herself. It's such a better place to be, ladies. After years of berating myself, it is so nice to be in this new self-compassionate spot. All right, now Maya is 61 and she's recovering from an injury and she wants to move again. And her old voice is creeping in and saying, I've lost everything I've worked for. I'm lazy. Okay, so that is kind of coming into her head and she's feeling down, but we're working on her new voice, which is saying, my body needs gentle support right now. I can walk for 10 minutes and celebrate that, right? So again, this is some of that all or nothing. If I can't do it all, I'm not going to do anything. And I cannot tell you how many women come to me with injuries and then they're like, well, I can't do anything because I hurt my foot. I'm like, well, you got the rest of your body. Okay. But we use that all or nothing. So really changing into some self-compassion and saying, even though I've hurt my foot, I can still move my arms, my leg, my abs. I can still learn how to eat better. I can work on some mindset, like just having that growth mindset. So self-compassion allows Maya to move with respect and not punishment for herself. Now, Tasha is 48. She is in perimenopause and she feels like a failure when she misses a workout, which I can identify with in my earlier 40s than 48. But her old patterning is saying, I suck at consistency. Okay. Oh my God, I missed a workout. I suck at consistency. Why can't I be consistent? And her new self-talk is one missed day doesn't erase my progress. I'm learning what consistency really looks like in this season of life. And her self-compassion builds resilience, not rebellion. And this is one I had to work through because if I didn't work out hard, if I didn't grind it, give it everything. And I was so depleted, ladies. I was so depleted. And this is why I say rolling changed my life, which has to be 18 years ago now, when I went on that roller 15 years ago, somewhere in there. And I really started to learn about regulating my nervous system and combining different workouts and not feeling like they were a waste of time. And I hear that from a lot of ladies. Like, if I'm not working out hard, why bother? Well, because there is such benefit to Pilates and yoga and rolling and breath work and blocking and breathing, and just allowing your body to heal because you actually get stronger in recovery. Now, Jenny is post-menopausal, okay, at 65, and she is really struggling with body image. And her inner critic, whether she looks in a mirror or not, is I hate the way I look. I hate how I look. And that is not a great place to be. And again, I know a lot of women are like, I cannot look at myself in the mirror. I don't like what I see. And we need to invite in some self-compassion. And Jenny's shift was, my body has been through so much. I don't have to love every inch to treat myself with care. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. My body has been through so much. I don't have to love every inch of it to treat myself with care. And she is learning how to disconnect self-worth from appearance. Okay? So she wants to allow herself, or she is allowing herself to take care of herself, even though she may not love every inch of herself. And then Aurea is also postmenopausal at 59 and really wants to start meditating, but feels way too scattered. And again, I hear this from so many women. I can't meditate. I don't have time to meditate. How am I going to relax my mind? I have too many things to think about. And then Aurea says, like, what's the matter with me? I can't even sit still. Okay, I can't even sit still. But through working and understanding self-compassion, because it takes as much energy to talk negatively about ourselves as it does positively, Aurea says, even noticing my busy mind is progress. I'm proud I showed up for myself today. And if you have listened to me for years or read my book, Cookie Dough in the Dark, or been a part of my Busy Mama reboot program in the early 2000, in the like 2012 time period, um, we were really talking about sitting in awareness. It was the biggest shift I have ever made, of sitting in awareness, noticing, pausing. Okay. So compassion keeps Aurea committed without the self-abuse. So meditating, and listen, I've done lots of work in my classes with this. Meditation does not mean staying completely still and not thinking. Okay. We think it means maybe when you're washing the dishes, you feel the water, the soap, the dishes. You're in the shower and you feel the water on your body instead of being somewhere else. Like Aurea, she feels and notices her mind is racing. It's busy, but at least she notices that. Right. And so this is what I've always said. You can't go from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain. You need to take these steps in between. So every little step is a step and it's taking you where you want to go. So why does this work? Why does self-compassion work? Well, Dr. Hill explains that self-compassion helps regulate cortisol, lowers inflammation, and increases motivation rooted in values, not fear. So with all these ladies, we're doing value work. What do you value? Where do you spend your time, energy, and resources, money? Right? And so, maybe you haven't really thought about that. I'm telling you, it's such a great exercise. And again, this is the stuff we do in my midlife reboot program. So, in other words, self-compassion makes it safer for your nervous system to try, fail, learn, and try again, which is exactly what is required with long-term sustainable changes. Okay. And so every time I thought I was failing, instead of beating myself up, which I did for a very long time, the better thing to do, which I started to do, was ask myself, what did I learn from this? What could I change? How could I have been different in this situation? What did I learn about myself? How could I do things differently? Right? And then congratulate myself when I took that tiny shift. And again, I always wanted to get from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain in a week. And as soon as I had that mindset shift and I completely let it go and trusted in the journey, so many things changed. So many things changed. Okay. Oh gosh, I just feel so much better about myself. So self-compassion is not about being soft. It's about being strong and steady enough to stay in the game. And I honestly, I know this with all of my heart, and I say this in all of my Vibrant Living classes. I teach 4 times a week online, live, or you can do the recordings. That when you show up and you make a commitment to yourself and you do the class, some classes are easier than the others, some are stretching, some are weights, all different types of classes. But you build resilience for the outside world by showing up and doing what you can do. You make yourself stronger. You make yourself stronger. And I know just from what all the ladies tell me. What's a practice that you can do today? And this is a tool from Dr. Diana Hill, and she calls it the name practice. N is for notice what's happening inside. What emotions are you feeling? What thoughts are you having? Do you feel tension in your body? So notice what is happening inside of you. So many of us are so disconnected and we are living way too much in our heads, way too much in our mind. We need to bring ourselves back into our bodies. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. A is to acknowledge it with kindness. This is hard. I'm human. I'm frustrated. This is okay. Just acknowledge what you're noticing, what emotion, thought, tension, and just honor it with kindness. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. M is to make room for the feeling instead of fighting it. Oh, so many times I spent fighting and pushing and hustling instead of making room for the feeling, okay, instead of fighting it. So just ponder that. And then E is to engage in what matters to you. Take small, values-based steps forward. So again, the word value has come up many times in this podcast. If you have not spent time to really tap into your values, I really implore you to spend some time to do that because it makes life so much easier. So I value my health above all else. My health is extremely important to me because I was sick for so long and it's exhausting to be unhealthy. It's exhausting to be sick. So I made a commitment to myself that health, because when I'm healthy, I'm a better wife, I'm a better mother, I'm a better friend, I'm a better me. So health is top for me. Family and friends, okay, are also top values. And so where I spend my time, who I spend my time with. Again, do that exercise. It's very worthwhile. Okay, so the next time you want to skip your walk, reach for nighttime eating, or listen to episode 195A, I think it is, or 196 on snacking. Really powerful episode. I really dig into a lot of the things that I did because we don't need to snack the way we're snacking, everybody. Okay, or spiral into shame or some negative emotion that's going to pull you down. So the next time you feel yourself spiraling down, stop and notice what's happening inside, acknowledge it with kindness, make room for feeling it instead of fighting it, and engage in what matters to you. Self-compassion isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's saying, I care enough about myself to keep going gently, kindly, and with love. So if you've ever been stuck in, I'll start on Monday, which I was for a long time, or dragging yourself with shame and shoulds and guilt, which I spent a lot of many years in there, okay? Let's try something new. And I tried something new 15 years ago, and it did start with noticing and awareness and my PBA technique. All right? And bring yourself to a safe place. And again, if you haven't listened to my nervous system episode, please go and listen to that. It is so powerful when you understand your nervous system. Okay, so be in your safe place. And I'm going to do some episodes coming up in the future about this as well, because that, my lovely ladies, is the soil where real, lasting change grows. It's not time for these quick fixes. They're draining. They don't last long term. I'm looking for women who really want to work on themselves. And trust me when I say that you will achieve your goals when you focus on the inside instead of controlling the outside. If this episode resonated with you today, please share it with a friend, leave me a review, subscribe, even give me a shout out on social media. I would so appreciate that. I'm on Instagram, Vibrant Living with Tanya. You can find me on Facebook, Vibrant Living with Tanya, or my account, Tanya Willis. And, I'd love to hear from you and your support and to share because when we share this information, it doesn't just lift you up, it lifts us all up. And we all want to become wiser, more energetic, vibrant ladies so that we can be the wise elders and have people look up to us as we pave the way for a different menopause, for a healthy and vibrant transition where we're going to spend the next third to half of our life. So thank you everybody for listening. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Hugs, hugs, hugs.